Welcome to this edition of Inside UNE. I'm Joel Soloway. In this program, I hope to shed light upon certain UNE events that concern some of the various social matters and issues that are present in our community. I'm a student at the University of New England studying applied social and cultural studies and communications. I'm currently interning at Biddeford Public Access to fulfill a requirement that is needed for both of my majors. Welcome to this edition of Inside UNE. I'm Joel Soloway. In this program, as usual, we'll be shedding light upon certain UNE events, programs, and people who make a difference in the community for the local surrounding areas. In today's program, I will be speaking to my professor at UNE, THEO Dunfey, who's helped guide me along through this internship that I am currently at Biddeford Public Access. At the university, she is the Citizenship coordinator and internship supervisor. So Thea, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joel.
Why don't you tell me a little bit more about your role and yourself in general?
Sure. So I have been at UNE for about 6 years. I started by teaching as an adjunct in the sociology department and for about a year, and then took on the role as coordinator of the Citizenship and Civic Engagement office at the university. And I've also, as you mentioned, been involved with the internships for the sociology department as well.
Awesome. So throughout your time at UNE, what have you seen change in terms of the sociology department in general?
Well, one thing that's changed since I've been here is that it was consolidated, and it is now called the Department of Society, Culture, and Languages. And so what that means is that in addition to sociology courses, it's also includes anthropology and foreign languages.
Okay.
So that was a fairly big change.
Yeah. And yeah, the major that I'm actually in is applied social and cultural studies. So
right.
I know that's under the sociology department
exactly.
also.
Yes.
Awesome. So like we both talked about earlier, you're part of the service learning and citizenship aspect at the university. So that's usually seniors that take part in these seminars. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what those are and what people do?
Sure. So the citizenship program is part of the core curriculum at UNE, and it's for the students who are in the College of Arts and Sciences. In their senior year, they have to take a mandatory senior seminar called Citizenship. And it's more than simply going out into the community and doing community service, though that is a major part of the course. Getting off campus, going out and engaging with the Biddeford, Saco, Old Orchard Beach communities in various ways. In addition to that, we have students doing readings about the importance of building social capital, making those connections, and how important that is for our democracy and for the health and well-being of communities. That's what holds communities together. So we do readings about that, we discuss that, we meet on a bi-weekly basis, and students also have to, part of the other parts of the requirement for the course is students have to go to a town community meeting. So they have to go to a town council, a city council meeting, or a school board meeting, or a planning board meeting, to experience that. And so many students haven't done that in the past, and so it's an eye-opening experience for them. And really, the point of the citizenship program is to serve, and the reason we do it in the senior year is it serves as that bridge from college community to local community. Students are going out into the community, they're going to be graduating, they're going to be starting their careers, and we want to help them to understand the importance of working with the community wherever it is that, no matter what they're doing or wherever they settle, that it's important to take part in other ways as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's absolutely what I've been trying to do throughout this internship, is trying to help create that connection between the university and the students. And it seems like the citizenship is another great way that does that. I'm actually excited to maybe step into some of those meetings next year. That was something I wanted to do throughout this internship, but haven't got the time. But it seems really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do that. So in terms of the volunteer and service learning opportunities that the students have gone to in the past, what are some of the examples of the places that people have done?
We have a database of over 850 sites where UNE students have completed their citizenship service. And this includes, they don't necessarily have to do it right here in Biddeford, though many of them do. We say, you do it wherever you may want to do it. Some students commute from different places, and so they'll do their citizenship hours, their community service in other places. But some of the local organizations that students have worked with for citizenship, the schools. We have so many UNE students who are serving as mentors and tutors in the local schools. We also have students who will want to work with the elderly, and they'll go to Biddeford Estates, or they'll go to the Pines in OOB, or they'll work with local food pantries and soup kitchens and things like that. So it's a real variety. Many students who are athletes oftentimes will want to help and give back by volunteer coaching. And that's been really a great thing. I had a couple of students a couple years ago who were lacrosse players, and for citizenship, they decided that they wanted to help a local lacrosse youth league, and their help was invaluable because the team that they were volunteering with had volunteer parent coaches who'd never played lacrosse. So it was really, they were so thrilled to have UNE students helping out. And so we have, whatever a student is interested in and wants to do, and wants to either something that they're passionate about, something that may further their own personal goals, we're open to all kinds of opportunities. We don't tell students what they must do. We say, we'll help you, we'll direct you. We have a database that you can look at, but it's your responsibility to get out there in the community and give back.
Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful that the university is going through that. And that's great hearing about the story about the lacrosse. I wonder, have you stayed in contact with any of these internship sites or the citizenship sites and heard back from things that have changed?
We do. I'm in touch with the sites, many of the sites. I mean, there's quite a few, so obviously not all of them, but I keep in regular touch with many that are popular sites, and I have every fall in September, we put on, our office organizes, along with the internship office at UNE, organizes a volunteer internship and community service fair, and we invite many of the local organizations where students have opportunities to volunteer and help out. They come to the campus. We have several hours when students can come and talk with the different service providers and see where their volunteer needs are. And this is something that keeps me in close touch, because many times many of the same organizations will come to the fair and talk with students. We also have our Day of Service, which has put us in touch with many different organizations as well.
That's awesome. So like overall, what tends to be the student reaction after having a semester of citizenship, and how are they impacted from it?
Well, it's interesting because this week is my last week of teaching citizenship. I have a class today, I have a class tomorrow, and it'll be the final class for the semester. And we ask students to reflect a little bit more deeply on what they've done and how it's impacted them, what they've learned. And it varies depending on where and what a student is doing, but by and large, students really seem to feel very good about what they've contributed, and they learn a lot about themselves. Sometimes students will say, I was working in a middle school or an elementary school, and I learned that I'm not really cut out to be a teacher. Or they may say, and this happens quite a bit, a student will say, yeah, I had an opportunity to work with the elderly, and I really enjoyed it, and it really has solidified my career choice to go into whatever it may be. And so, we ask them to really think about how, in that final class especially, about how they have learned about the community, about themselves, about the growth of social capital, and by and large, I feel that the students recognize how much they've gained from the experience. Oftentimes, at least once a semester, there's a student who finishes citizenship and is offered a job, which is always wonderful to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know I have a few friends at the college that have participated in citizenship and continue to volunteer. They've mentioned how they're going after school to go to the local pet clinic just because they are.
Right.
So
I have
obsessed with
students
it.
who continue. They're just because the semester ends doesn't mean that they're going to stop what they're doing, and that's always wonderful. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a great requirement. I know at my high school we had community service hours that we needed, but we never had a concrete class or anything that really.
Yeah, I think
helped you
that's a little bit more the unique aspect. It's not simply a required number of hours that you have to do community service, but the important part, and this is what service learning is really all about, is having that time to reflect on it and to connect it to what you are learning in your college courses and in the citizenship class in terms of the readings that we do. It's that connection between your education and the community that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. So you did mention the day of service that I know started last year through one of the students. Just in general, are there any other community service or engagement initiatives that you have seen gone on or help initiate with UNE and the local community?
Well, I mean, I can mention some that our office has been involved in. One being the Brain Fair, which is the neuroscience department at UNE, invites young students from around Biddeford, Saco, Old Orchard Beach area to come and participate in activities that help them to learn more about the brain and protecting your brain and all of that. That's something that our office has been involved in terms of recruiting volunteers for students to volunteer. We have a very strong, from our office, we have a college community mentoring program that connects UNE students with youth from kindergarten through usually middle school. And these are kids who may need a friend, a mentor, somebody to come in and it might be academic support, but it might be just social support. It might be having somebody to have lunch with, that sort of thing. And we have a very vigorous program, a club on campus, and every semester every year we usually have 50 to 60 UNE mentors who are out in various capacities. So that's a program that we're really proud of, and it's been going on for oh gosh, I want to say 10 years, but I don't quote me on that. I'm not sure how many years it's actually been in existence, but it grows every year, and in fact, tomorrow is the Mentor Field Day, and our coordinator, who right now is a student, who, Reba Shapiro, has invited mentors and their mentees to come to campus for a fun day with, and that's going to take place, actually not tomorrow, but on Friday. So, and she initiated that last year, or maybe a year or two ago, so that's become an annual event as well that they look forward to.
Yeah, that's so cool that it really does show that students can have a voice and start making changes and helping connect the community.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they find that, you know, it's a great release. Students tell us that when they're out in the schools and out in the community, it allows them to sort of forget about the stresses of college and classes, and they really end up, you know, they look forward to it. It's a way to, you know, put themselves outside of what their normal day-to-day is.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, like, especially when I was a freshman at first, I didn't have a car on campus. It was like, whenever I saw a kid on campus, I was like, oh, there's kids again, because you don't usually see it.
Right.
But it is great to see the different events that go on with the community. As people watching at home know, that this is a show that's going on through the internship that I'm doing with sociology and also communications. And the interesting thing is that we take, at least in the sociology department, we have to take an internship class, which Theo helps conduct. So it's been great doing that throughout this past semester. Why don't you just tell everyone at home some of the interesting and different unique aspects of the internship through sociology?
Sure, sure. So in the sociology program, students have to do an internship, and it's a requirement of the major to do an internship in the community. And so, but we also we meet on a regular weekly basis, and it's really to, again, have that reflection piece where we can learn and connect what it is that we have been studying in theory in the university with practice. So it's bringing theory to practice. And so we have, you've done this, Joel. We have readings. You've done readings on experiential education and what that is and why it's important, and why making those connections between the university courses that you've taken with the type of internship activities that you're doing, how important that is for your future and moving forward. Once you decide what it is your career goal is, or your career path is, we feel that the internships are a really important, vital piece to your education, and making those types of connections where you're not simply reading from books and taking exams and listening to lectures, but you're out there and you're doing, and you're putting what you've learned to practice.
Awesome. Yeah, that's exactly the type of experience that I've had doing it through this program. So it's been really good. So I'm doing it public access. I can name off a few of the others in my class, but why don't you just mention some of the other sites that UNE students are currently at or have been at in the past for their internship?
Oh gosh, we have, again, it's a real variety. We have a student who has been doing her internship at Planned Parenthood. We have a student who is doing her internship at Pine Tree Legal. We have, I'm going to visit another internship site today, Living Innovations here in Biddeford. Yesterday, went to Seeds of Hope, where one of our students is doing her internship. So and there's many others as well, but each of those, especially with the sociology majors, each of the internships that students are doing, they're really they're in areas, they're not doing internships for businesses, for-profit businesses for the most part. They're with nonprofits, and they're very much service-oriented, and so students really have an opportunity to learn more about the community and the different demographics of the community and the different aspects of wherever it is that they're interning. They can really focus and think about, okay, I've learned about culture and society through my Intro to Soc course or my cultural anthropology course. But when I go out to my internship site, I can actually recognize and understand those concepts that I learned better because I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been great having hearing about the different internships throughout the weekly class I'm in. Thankfully for myself, this internship has been really beneficial and it's been structured well. But it's been interesting to hear about some of the others that may have not had the best structure or maybe feel like they didn't have as much of a voice in some of it. So it's been really good to
I enjoy hearing every week when we meet. I love hearing what everybody is doing and how things are going and talking about challenges and and what's been great is that I find that your classmates, if there's an issue, there's a problem that somebody's faced with some challenge at their internship, other students will chime in and say, well, have you tried this? Or maybe here's an idea. And I loved seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some suggestions, so I've taken them and definitely considered them throughout my time here. So
great.
It's been great. Yeah, overall, this program has been something that it was kind of nerve-wracking to start at first, but I hope to continue it throughout my last year at UNE through a volunteer basis, and hopefully any other students at the university it would be great to have them.
Well, I certainly will encourage it because I think it's this is a great Biddeford Public Access. It's such a great resource for the community, and having that, you've paved the way now with Biddeford Public Access and connecting the university with the community, and there's just so many things that we could share with the community about how the university is involved and get that back and forth, the conversation going between different organizations, different members of the community, and what UNE has to offer.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a great school. We're just 5 minutes down the road, and we're not too far disconnected. So
that's right.
It's a little stretch of road, and then we're back in the community.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Theo. It's been great having you on.
Thank you for having me on, Joel. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for watching this edition of Inside UNE. Tune in to Biddeford Public Access for more shows.